afternoon, Shaving Cadre. For those that you don't know me, my name is Dave, or on the website is Barber Dave. I am one of the owners here at the Shaving Cadre. And just a couple of explanations, because a lot of people are wondering where I've been. First and foremost, I hope that everybody's families are healthy, safe, and doing whatever you can to get through this. Obviously, there are some new guidelines coming out today, which I won't go into detail, but I'm sure you guys all know that. And for those of us that have been affected by this to the point where we've actually lost people, good friends to this virus, my prayers go out to anybody who's affected overtly on that, especially in some of the hot states. Secondly, for those that don't know me, once again, my name is Dave, and I'm one of the owners here with my partners, Chad and Chris. And one of the reasons why I have not been on the forum so much lately is, one, my health. I've been trying to really get myself back to where I need to be. Those of you that have known me for a long time know that I was approaching 300 pounds, and now I'm sub 200. So riding my bike a lot, putting in a lot of miles. And then secondly, my wife and I are caregivers for her mom. So with this, especially with this situation, things have been very, very tight. Plus we've got ducks, chickens, and stuff like that. So I do apologize. I do hope to try to get on a little bit more as time goes on. And first and foremost, I want to thank everybody from the Shaving Cadre, all the members, all the ownership, all the vendors. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for sticking with us. We just celebrated our 2nd anniversary. And yes, I will be getting the tattoo probably right here once the tattoo shops open, and it'll be that on my arm as part of the promise once we got to 300 members. Secondly, what I thought I'd do today is a shave. I haven't done one in a while, and we'll go through that. I'm actually going to be using my Vector with a Feather Pro Guard blade, and then Razor Rock X1, both the soap and the shaving cream, and then the TSC shaving brush. And this has got a 2-band badger knot in it. But this is more of a commercial. Now, don't forget, tomorrow, Friday, at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 5 o'clock Arizona time, because we're lazy and we don't change our clocks. So that would be Pacific time. Then Mountain time would be 6 o'clock, and Central 7, and then 8 o'clock Eastern time. Something special. The first person to go through the 2nd anniversary promises will be Mr. Vargo, Chad. And there'll be a link to join our Zoom sessions, which is a teleconferencing session. We've been doing that. We just did our 2nd one yesterday, and they're fantastic. It's basically like going to a bar and having a drink, considering we can't go to a bar and have a drink. So we're hoping to do that on a weekly basis. But tomorrow is a special event because Chad is going to join the club that has eaten the Pocky One Chip Challenge. Now, this is a chip, a tortilla chip, a black tortilla chip, that most of you already know about, that is basically like putting lava in your face. Now, for those of you that remember the video that I did, being on keto, I had come off a 48-hour fast and then ate the chip. No, bad mistake. So Chad's probably won't be as bad, but it will still be extremely entertaining. So check the website for the forum, rather, for that. In the times. Now, please understand, with any of our Zoom conferencing calls, please note that the passwords and the entry codes are extremely confidential. So please do not give those to friends, do not give those to family, keep them for membership only, because we will deal with those getting leaked out pretty severely. So anyway, so what we're going to do today is just a 3-pass shave. Now, I know that KJ had put on some lathering videos with Williams, and I guess he lathered his whole head. I think that lathering has a mystique about it that people say this soap doesn't lather, this soap doesn't lather. I think, in my opinion, if you maintain a specific regiment when it comes to lathering, you're always going to get good lather. Now, I've already somewhat pre-lathered this with the Razor Rock X1, but I do this with Mitchell's Wool Fat, which is one that people go crazy over, saying it can't lather. The original, or actually the 2nd version of Penhaligon's English Fern, people say it's a bubbly mess. And then probably one of the biggest is Williams. They can't get it to lather. Well, I disagree completely, because I don't think there's a soap, and I think that if you look at some of my videos, there isn't a soap that I haven't been able to get a decent lather out of, except for Eucharist. That's the only one I've ever had trouble with, and it's still a doable lather, but it's junk other than that. So what I do is I start out with a fairly dry brush. So I'll soak the brush, wring it out till almost dry. I've had maybe a quarter of a teaspoon of water in the puck, and then you just start loading it like you don't know any better. Now, for those of you that are bowl lathering, you can add a few drops of water, and I just use my finger. Or if you are face lathering, start out, don't put any water in it yet. Get that paste on there first, and then start building the lather from there. So I agree with KJ's assessment, and I think that once you get a good lather, you can rock it. Now, the X1 is a wonderful, wonderful soap. Chad always reminds me that it's got some new formula in it. I never remember. So I have not added any water yet, and you can see it's got a little bit of a paste to it. So I'll just take my fingers and just a few drops and rebuild into the lather. And if you do this right out of the gate, and you rinse off after each pass, you shouldn't have to add that much more water or any at all. Now, I spend a lot of time on this portion of the lathering because I'm trying to dig this into the pores, and this is a barbering trick because you really want that first pass to be perfect. I'll add just a tad more water. And as most of you know, you're looking for a sheen. And I've noticed, at least with a badger brush, that as you're doing your strokes, that it gets quiet. So like I said, I'm using the Vector today. And for those of you guys that are new, if you notice, I'm barely even holding on to the razor. And if you also notice, I use a scything motion, which I don't recommend in the beginning for you beginners because you will get a racing stripe. As most of you know, 90% of the time I shave with a straight razor, but I have some Knights of Columbus stuff to do later tonight, so I thought it'd just be quick. Okay, and there's pass one. Now on pass two, I don't scrub into my beard. I just do the paintbrush strokes. And like I said, if you've added enough moisture and gotten the leather or the lather where it should be, this should not be an issue at all. But if you do need to add some water, add some water. And I know that this might cause a little bit of controversy, but I believe that every soap, whether it be my favorite, which is Saponificio Veracino, or Williams, or even the New English Fern, can all attain to this level. Okay, and there's pass number 2. Now the third pass, I will go ahead and scrub to once again get the soap deep into the follicle, because as that follicle fills up, it will push the whisker out just a tad to get that final BBS shave. Now sometimes I will add just a trickle of water on this just to make it a little extra slick for the last pass. And that's all she wrote. Do a final rinse. Check for any rough spots. Now the one thing I do know with the Vector, especially when it's matched with a feather or a Kai blade, usually there's no need for any subsequent passes or cleanup stuff. Using the RazoRock X1 aftershave, which is it's a hard scent to match. It's got a little bit of citrus. I want to say it's got some cardamom, some vanilla maybe in it. It's very much like the 70th from Saponificio Veracino, just not quite as citrusy, but it's wonderful. And one thing with RazoRock's aftershaves, they have a tendency to be fairly high alcohol content, obviously, but they're not bad as far as keeping the scent on for a while. So it's not bad. And then one thing that I do, it's a barber thing, obviously. For those of you that go to the barber regularly, there's nothing quite like the powder finish. And I'm using some Menon shave talc, vintage Menon shave talc. And the reason why we use this in the barber shop is, believe it or not, those of you that have girlfriends and wives or significant others know that that term powdering your nose is to prevent shininess. And this does the same exact thing, and it basically seals the shave. And if you live in a warmer climate, it also prevents that swamp face look, especially in your high humidity areas. Here in Arizona, we don't sweat because it just burns off until August or September, July, August, and September. So it's just a nice finish. It makes the face feel smooth and everything else. So, well, that's it, shaving cadre. Yes, I am not dead. The ghost is still here. And I apologize for not getting on as much as I should. I'm going to try to rectify that. But the main reason to do this was just do a quick shave, and also to let you know to not forget tomorrow. 6 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time to watch Mr. Chad Vargo, C. Vargo, go through the Pocky One Chip Challenge. Once again, his is not going to be as much of a train wreck as mine, but we're still hoping for things to come off the rails. So once again, thank you for being members of the Shaving Cadre, and we appreciate you each and every day. I hope that your families stay safe and healthy, and join us on our weekly Zoom conference call as well. It's nice to put the faces to the names. This is Barber Dave signing off. Have a great day.